Hey guys, so this is just a little bit of a review in terms of how we work with 1 point perspective. So you need your 9 by 12 paper. That's what you'll do the final project on. If you want to practice this on another sheet of paper, that's absolutely fine. But when you're ready for that final project, the final rendition of perspective, I should say, you'll be doing it on that 9 by 12 paper. So that's that smaller sheet. So we have to have a vanishing point, and that can go anywhere on your paper, right? I wouldn't put it anywhere right near the edge, but if you want it closer to the edge, do it like 3 or 2 finger spaces inward. So I'm going to put mine right here. With 1 point perspective, we are looking at the front of a form, right? So we are looking at the front of something. We're not looking at the edge or a corner. We are looking at the face of something. So we start out with just any kind of 2D shapes. These can be organic, they can be geometric. If you have stencils, highly recommend doing that. But if not, just do your best to freehand a circle or an oval. Right? Keeping it light, then going back, letting it being a little bit darker. Erase all those lighter lines. Pretty close to a circle. But it could be triangle, it could be anything. Square, rectangle. So what we do is that we take our straight edge or ruler, right? We just need something to make a straight edge. We're going to place the pencil. Place the pencil on your vanishing point. Press your straight edge or ruler up against it and rotate until you hit the edge of a shape, especially with curved shapes. And we're going to take it to that edge. Okay. And I'm going to do this for all the edges that I can really see. So I won't really have one here or over here. I'm going to turn my paper. This just makes it easier. I always like starting on the outside of a shape. So pencil on the vanishing point, rotate until I hit that edge right there. And that is the shape. Okay. All of my receding lines will always go to the vanishing point, no matter where they're at. So pencil on the vanishing point, ruler up against the pencil, rotate, connect them. Rotate, connect them. We do this with corners, right? If it's not a curved shape, we do it with a corner. Okay, so rotate, or pencil, ruler, rotate until I hit the corner. So there I've got a corner that's going to be visible. Here I have a corner that's going to be visible. And I keep starting on my vanishing point. You can start on a corner and line it up to the vanishing point as well. It works that way too, right? I've got this corner, but I'm not going to take it to my vanishing point because if I did that, you can see all of a sudden this shape has become transparent, and we generally want them to be opaque. So that receding line is there. We just can't see it. So if your receding line goes through or like inside of your shape, then you don't need to draw it unless you're doing a transparent shape, which I don't recommend that. So get the longer side here. Pencil on the vanishing point, ruler up against the pencil, rotate. I'm going to look at my triangle. Now, I'm going to have this triangle kind of be behind this square form, this prism that I've got here. So it's not going to go all the way to the vanishing point. It's only going to go to where I can see it. But again, it is still lining up with the vanishing point. So we have to think about what is going to be hidden, what's going to be seen, right? So that's how we do that. That's the general idea with perspective. Okay. So not all of your shapes have to touch the vanishing point, right? They do not all have to necessarily touch the vanishing point. Let's say I have this kind of, kind of pencil's a little janky. Let's say I have something like this. And let's say I know I want it to stop. Like I want it to be a little bit shorter, not a super thick shape that goes on forever and ever. What I'm going to do, same thing, pencil on the vanishing point, line it up with a corner. I'm going to go from the corner and just take it a little bit out that way. Okay. Now this is a little tricky because it goes through my shape, so it would actually be hidden. Sometimes it helps to actually draw those just to check to see if you have a receding line going towards it. So I'm not connecting it to the vanishing point, but that line, it is still headed towards the vanishing point. Okay. So let's check this one. A little bit of an edge right there, just a little bit of one. These others, probably not. Yeah, that's going through the shape. Okay, so now let's say I want this shape to stop. Should check this corner. I completely forgot that one. There we go. So even a little bit of edge there. So if I want this shape to stop, let's say right here, I have to make the back edge of my shape match the front, right? So in between this receding line and this receding line, I have this line, right? So I have to draw it the same angle and everything, right? Because if I did it at a different angle, let's say I chose this one, right? If I chose to stop it somewhere, like, yeah, that works. No, that doesn't work, right? So we have to keep our front edge and our back edge matching, okay? So now I've got this receding line and this one. It's connected by this line going off at this angle, and this line connects to this corner. So I've got to connect it there. Got that one. This one's going straight up and down. Okay. And then this one, I won't really see this back edge here, right? We drew that receding line, or I drew it earlier, right? So I know it would connect some way like that, but I'm not going to draw it. What I'm going to do is kind of see the distance between this line and this line, right? So if this line is right here, I have to make the distance between this edge and this back edge pretty similar to these two, right? So I'm going to put right about there. That seems about right. So then I can erase the rest of those receding lines. If you want to kind of save yourself a little bit of time and effort with that, what you can do is, if you can read your ruler, right? I'm reading it a little bit backwards. I'm starting on 7, right? And I'm going to take it to this little halfway point right there. Corner, line it up with the vanishing point. Make sure that that 7's lined up, or whatever number. The same. I'm really just trying to keep the same distance. I'm doing like a 1/2 inch, right? Okay. So I made all of these lines the exact same length. So now I just have to connect the ends of them. So that's 2 ways you can deal with that, right? You can kind of do this little measurement, picking a spot, then connecting it in between your present receding lines and then erase the rest. Or you can kind of determine a little measurement like an inch, 1/2 inch, or, using the centimeter side, a couple centimeters, however you want to use it, right? But that can save you a little bit of time if you know you want to cut that shape off. Okay. So again, these receding lines, they are still in line with the vanishing point. They line up with it. Like if I were to continue this, it would go towards the vanishing point, or it should go towards the vanishing point. But because I want it to stop, I won't have these. All right. If you're wanting to deal with some sort of hole in a shape, like negative space, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Line up on my vanishing point. Here's a corner. Because this is going to be inside, right? We're looking inside of a shape. All of my receding lines are actually going to stay in that shape that is the hole, right? So here's my hole all of my receding lines are just going to stay within that hole. And this one may be, no, it won't, because it goes right outside. So this looks a little bit weird, right? But this is really going to come to life more so when we start shading it. Okay? I'm going to use a pencil rather than colored pencil for this, but because it's on the inside, it's going to be darker. There's less light coming towards it. And I can even pick a few areas to kind of shade a little bit darker within. Whenever I'm shading, I'm going to let this, the way I move my pencil back and forth, I'm going to let it match that edge. Right, so here, this line's going this way. I'm going to shade it that way. And that's going to help kind of reinforce that idea of depth. And of course, if we pick a light source, we'll eventually pick a light source. That way our lighting is consistent. Then we could figure out like, oh, this side, if I had a light source, let's say coming from over here, right? I know this side, the left side of my shapes, they're going to be brighter. And because these sides are facing away from that light, they're going to get a little bit less light, so they'll be darker. Okay, so this is how we deal with general one-point perspective.